What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. I told you guys I was going to go ahead and try to get through these other folders so we can get into our next section, which is going to be um, character editing in Lyra. So that'll be after I get done with these folders. That's what we're going to be on. So let's go ahead and go in. I want to thank everybody who's been subscribing to the channel since the last video, man. I appreciate it. So where we were, looks like where we left off was we were just done with the characters folder, and we were here on context effects. This is a section we're not going to really worry about right now. Then the editor slate, nothing you got to worry about here. As you can see, there's really nothing in here. Next, you want to go to your effects. All right, this is going to be where all of your effects for everything happens. Okay, so when it says effects, it means effects. Your anim notifies here. You can see for your foot plants. We got the blueprints here for your footstep blueprint, your weapon decals. So this decides how and it applies the decals from weapon fire. Here is for obviously for shooting your weapon. I'll just open it just to show you guys real quick. And this basically fires off your weapon. You'll see here it says fire. It come here and it has a sequence that's going to break up this firing action, and you will see here it says enable shell eject. So if this is true, if you have that option enabled, it's going to perform this action here. And these blueprints we will get into more later. I have not even dived into them yet, but they look pretty self-explanatory. Spawning the system, Niagara system, and the particles and things, and then it goes down and then it enables the muzzle flash, and so of course it grabs that effect and it fires that off. And this looks like where, yeah, these are impact positions. And then it's going to fire off here, enable the tracer, obviously to trace where the weapon is going to go once it's fired. All right. And then it looks like last but not least, it's going to come down here and destroy the actor. All right. So that's just a quick one, guys. I'm not going to do this with all of them, but that's kind of, you know, the gist of what's going on in these folders. Let's get ahead back down and go back in. Right here, the damage basic Niagara style. Okay. And then this is just the numbers, how it shows you the numbers when you're shooting the characters. That's where this is. So if you wanted to change and put a different effect for your character when they get hit, or if you wanted to, you know, change the numbers up, I think right now they have them based on the color of your team, I believe. But you could do these however you wanted to. You could go in here and edit these numbers and make them be how you wanted, the color schemes and things you wanted. So that's where you do something like that at. All right, let's go ahead and go down. We got the camera, and this is just for damage, and it's just showing that this is the screen direction that the damage is taken from. This is the damage taken blueprint here. All right, and then these are the textures and materials used. So like they're putting things, they're really doing detailed categorization here. So don't say that 3 times fast, but that's what they're doing. Here are the curves for the launch pad effect. These are basically all of your effects, guys, are going to be in here. So if you're looking for something, you see your impacts, explosions, like everything's here, guys. These are all the effects that you have for the project. All right. So that's what's in here, and we'll get into it, like I said, more detailed when we need to. All right. This is environments. So this is load the random lobby. Gameplay is in here, and you can see here gameplay, effect pad, heal, damage. These are these that we see here, the heal, the damage. That's actually what those blueprints and things are. So those are located here in this folder. So if you wanted to bring more in without copying the ones already there, you could come here and do it, and this is where you would edit anything that has to do with those. All right, so you could probably change the color of these, what you want the heal device to look like. You could add to it, maybe add like a cage around it or something that you could have to run into, whatever you wanted to do, guys. You do that right here. All right, then feedback, obviously these are the camera shakes and the haptics. So this is for healing. whatever shake you get on your controller, this is where they are. You can press play, and if you have your controller on and it has the vibrate ability, you will feel the different haptics there. All right, and then this is for the different shakes that you do for per character. All right, so the next one we're going to go to here is going to be gameplay cues and notify. So this here is where your character damage taken is, all these different and I'm learning right now, guys, while I'm showing you this stuff, guys. Burst, I believe this is when the character bursts. All right, and it does the particles and things for that. This is the heal effect. And so this is basically, if you guys look at these, we'll just go ahead and click on one, and you can see here it says event on burst, and it's going to play the audio heal sound. We go to construction script, there's nothing there. Literally the only job this has is to play this audio on heal. Okay, whatever this audio is. Now I don't think there's one assigned. It's taken from probably from another data table or somewhere where you decide what this audio will be. But that's, anyway, guys, that's just a basic of what's in there. So this is where your cues and notifies are for when characters get damaged and other things. Gameplay effects, okay, and here we go. Block ability, dynamic tag, hero dash cooldown, is player. All of these things are more effects, more effects, healing effects and damaging effects and things like that. All right, so basically, guys, all of that is what's in here. We got human vocalizations, I believe. These cues and waves are things I put in. I didn't think I put them in here. I may have accidentally put them in here, so we're gonna just skip that for now. But this is, if you do have this folder, I didn't hear any sounds like that. I think this is just a folder I added, guys, so we're just gonna skip it for now. If you do have it, it's just a voice folder for voice effects. All right, then we have our inputs. All right, so this is where the input mappings are. So this is actually where, if you click on these, this is where you'd map your inputs for your jumping, crouching, weapon firing, things like that. Normally you'd go in a project, you'd go here, guys, to project settings to do this. And let me see if it opens here. And then you could go to input and see, guys, that's exactly, this is what I'm saying, guys. They're closing all this stuff up. All of these things are being referenced in data asset form instead of being raw. I guess it's a lot cleaner and faster than doing it the old way. This way seemed easier, but they clash very much so. So if you're using action mappings and axes mappings in your project settings, once you get Lyra, if you're trying to merge things, you're going to run into some issues. That's what I'm cleaning up right now in my project merge. The main thing is turning all of my action mappings into these input actions so that there's no clashing of interactions. But this is where you'd have these at. This is the one for the gamepad, and then you're going to have the one for your keyboard here. So these are all your input actions, just the same as it's always been, guys. You drop these boxes down and you can put in what you want these input actions to be on your keyboard. All right, so that's where all your action mappings and things like that are going to be. Legal, this is probably notices, third-party notice type stuff. Localization, this is your localization file for your game and overrides. Not really going to get into that. These are your physical materials, which you have character, concrete, and glass so far, and you can add more to this, obviously. This is your actual system. So this is your front end, your teams. So this shows you that there's actually 4 teams, even though it only shows 2 in the shooter. There are actually 4 available, and the 4 are only accessed when you're using the top-down mode. But I'm sure this all can be overcome pretty easily, and you could probably get all 4 characters into the shootout and then begin to add more characters. And this is where you do, like, if you wanted to have say you wanted 24 players, you take 3 divided 24 divided by 3, you get 8 teams. Okay, so this is where you do that, and you can make 8 teams and then put 3 members on each team. All right, this is kind of where that stuff will be happening at, guys. And then you have your default map here. This is where your experience list right here says 3D experience list. This is basically where it's going to show what type of game do you want to play. Do you want to play control or elimination or whatnot? So that's the display for that. These are your experiences. So this is the Lyra default experience here, and this is when you first start up. It just has the simple pawn. I showed it in the first video, but this is that experience, so that when you first go in, you have that little funny pawn that you just kind of glide around and go through the front end area. So this is all of that. This is the maps again. So you got your front end map for when you first start the game. That's where all this stuff is in here. We got tools. All right, and this just looks like blueprints for pieces of the level, for the default levels that they have in the system, using basically meshes that they're baking and setting their positions using enumerators. All right, so that's how they're kind of building these little levels using enumerators. Well, not really this one, but the control and shootout level, and that's what these are, the blueprint pieces for those. All right, so that's where this is if you guys want to play around with that stuff. This is the user interface here. So this shows credits, and this is just where all of your user interface settings are going to be. So all of your you'll probably find some widgets and things like that in here. Yeah, there we go. So you can see here credits, and so you're going to be finding that's where all of these things are. So later when I get into changing the HUD and doing all that, this will be covered, guys. So that's where this is. Next thing we have is weapons. All right, and this is where you have kind of the this is sort of like the references to the plugin side here, because the rest of the Lyra engine is actually in the plugin, and so you have to have some references to those so that you can create your own generic, like it has here, generic, but it has the different weapons here, and this is just the mesh, the materials and textures that are being referenced, not the actual weapons. The only spot that the weapon is actually is right here is beat weapon. This is the default weapon, and then all of the other weapons are based on that weapon. All right, so it's taking this, what's happening is basically in Lyra, it's taking this as the generic weapon, and then it's filling in these meshes. It's changing the meshes according to the setting that you have set up for your weapons. So if you have a shotgun, you're gonna reference the meshes and everything. More than likely this is being done through data assets, and then they're being applied to this generic weapon. Okay, so this is like the main weapon, but it's just a generic weapon. I don't even see it in here. Let's go skeletal mesh. Doesn't have one, so yeah, this is generic weapon here. All right, guys, so that's what's in that folder, and then these are all of the meshes. So if you wanted to change the mesh to your pistol and things like that, this is where the damage is for the pistol. This is like all the information for each weapon. All right, and then you have your animations in here, and these would be the animations used when firing that weapon, and the actual weapon animation for the pistol itself. So this is pretty nice. They have it organized really well. This is for the health packs, and you can see here for the small health pack and the full large health pack. So you know it's all here, guys. And like I said, it's just basically this is where the mesh are stored and the base information for the weapons. This is where I added my weapons at when it came time to add the rocket launchers and things you guys see me using in the video, and I will be going over all that, guys. I just wanted to really get the walkthrough done though. So this is where all your weapon information is, and we'll get into it more later. All right, now this is the really a way more heavy part here. There's the plugin folder. All right, and this is actually the master. You really don't want to change things in these folders. I do want to show you that it's here. This is the actual core content, and we'll get into this definitely in a different video. Right now, for those that are trying to edit, this is where I will be showing you to copy everything from to make your own, you know, versions of the blueprints. All right, because I truly believe in copying, and it is the way to do everything so that you never ever tarnish your original blueprints. Always use copies. All right, so but you can see in here, guys, I wanted to really come into this game one because this is in the shooter core content. Like I said, this is the Lyra folder. We're gonna go over this folder too. This has everything in it. This is pretty much the stock of the entire project. You can see here the bots, your experiences, elimination mode, control point mode. Like this is basically the whole setup of the project. I guess I could try to comb this really fast. I don't know how long the video is. I'm gonna go ahead and just go through a little bit of it here. So anyway, guys, in your plugin folder here, this is where you will find your Lyra example content, Lyra ext tool content. This is all the content for the project. All right, and then when you open this up, you're gonna see here it's broken up just like it was up top, and you're gonna have your this is just materials and presets and things. This is mostly materials, these folders here. See mega scans and the presets. So this is textures and things like that. Then the this is just literally a widget material here. And then we got pocket worlds content. We don't have to worry about that. Shooter core content. This is the meat and potatoes that I was showing you guys just a second ago. This is where everything for the project is. You can see there's input here, mappings, and you have your gamepad inputs and your shooter inputs. And these are the defaults that are used in the project itself. All right. These are the main. And like I said, guys, a lot of the things that you saw up top are literally like copies of these items that were placed up top so that you can use them without having to edit these. Now, it is very important, and sometimes you're gonna need to come to these folders, like I said, to do the copying for items that you want to change up. Like here, you guys can see that the team spawning rules are here. The scoring base is here. Like everything is here, guys. This is the real, this is where everything takes place. The melee is here, GA melee. So that's the gameplay ability. Emote. Okay, guys, and I'm going to definitely show you guys this one. This is how I actually created all my magic, is using the emote. So I'm going to get into this, guys. This is going to be the next big thing, and I will show you guys this, but I definitely want you to know this is going to be a very important folder. Your respawning is here, so you can do your respawn effects, how you spawn in the beginning. So this is where you can set if you want your characters to have a intro animation or something like that. This would be the section that you'd want to go in to do things like that. It's gonna take work, guys. There's just so much. If you open these different blueprints and things, it's just so much going on in here that you have to, and some of it is not used, but it's there to be used for a reason, because there's just so many things you can do with this gas system. So the gameplay ability system is pretty ridiculous. But this is where your main, like I said, this is the main folder for all of the game related things. You can see here the hero shooter data. We open this up, and then this is basically where it sets everything up. You get your hero shooter mannequin, which that is the main mannequin. And I showed you guys in another video a mannequin that you can edit. That's basically a child. This is the main blueprint here. When you're playing the shooter game, this is the mannequin that you're using. And you can see there's nothing in here. It's all filled in with a cosmetic. But this is the main character. If you open it, you can see that it goes to hero default, which is the character that I showed you. So even though this is crazy, like I said, there's 3 different character types being referenced for your main character so far that I've counted. You have, well, the other hero is not really a hero, but you have this B hero default, and you have this shooter mannequin. And so you're gonna have probably a shooter mannequin. Maybe there's, they just change them up for the different types for the control point and things like that. But the shooter mannequin, as far as what I've seen, guys, this is where everything is. You can see here the input actions for changing your weapons, and the team colors when the cosmetics are spawned or when the team changes. So this is where you would mess with all of this. Main character is this one. So I will be getting more into this, guys. Like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm still learning it, but I have a very good idea of what all of these things do now. Like I said, man, you got your 2 teams set up here. There's a 4 team set up in another area for the top down, but this is your 2 team setup. And this is what I want to try to get into editing to add more teams and things like that. Right now it shows teams to create. It shows 2. I tried to create more teams, and one thing obviously is that there has to be a reference to the widget in the HUD, and so I ran into problems right away. But you can see here, this is where you set up everything. You know, this is where you set up the team colors and the emissiveness and everything. It's all in here, guys. So this is where you would access that information. You got the spawning team rules here. And you guys want to go down, man, and literally you definitely want to open up the tabs. Once you get down to user data and collision, you pretty much not really doing anything. But you want to definitely scan the top areas and see what makes these blueprints work. Open the full blueprint if you have to. It says if you want to add something, so that's where you go. You open the full blueprint, and then you can add your own, you know, your own blueprint. See here, and then it will look more like what you're used to. So we'll open the window, and then here you could create an event and throw events in here as well. So there's a lot of ways that you can, you know, use this information. All right, so that's, guys, I'm not going to get into every one of these right now. I just wanted to show you this folder, and I showed you the inputs where they have more mappings and abilities are here. And so your aim down sights, like these are all, every action is broken up just like it would be at any other project, except for you want to make a GA asset. So basically what you do is, what I would do is probably copy one of these, change the name to whatever my action is, and then paste my blueprint inside of here. That's pretty much how you can make a gameplay ability. I mean, that's, in my eyes, that seems like the easiest way to do it. So, and then it has the on ability, event activate ability would be your event begin play. All right. And then on end ability, that would be kind of like if you used event end or end play, which there is a such thing, but that's pretty much what this is, guys. You just put your event begin play here for whatever that event is, and then once that event is over, you have to turn it off. That's how abilities work. So it has to be something that turns on, and then you apply something when that ability ends. All right. But seems pretty easy, guys. I'm gonna figure it out real soon, guys, and I'll be trying it and let you guys know how it turns out. But that's pretty much the main meat and potatoes, guys. Like I said, this has all of your extra mapping settings and things like that, and then you got your items, and these are just pickups and things that they're like it says cube hat. These look like items that they've been working on for future updates. There's a lot of scattered items that I've seen a few things that are in here that are not used in the project, just like drop weapon, which I use it now. But there was a drop weapon input action, but it's not normally used. But I plugged it into my game and I'm using it in my Lyra project. So there's some extras in here, guys. These are your healing. And I'm going to go more into these things like these data assets, man. That's going to be the main thing that you're going to, it's going to be a newer concept to most people, doing everything through data assets. It gets a little confusing. But this is all your healing pickups and stuff. This is system. So this is your playlist, audio and things for the project, weapon audio functions. This is more HUD. So this is where all of your HUD, you can see here scoreboard, and all your HUDs are in here, guys. So all of your widgets and things, they're all in here, I should say. So this is where everything is. So when you're getting a level up, or things are being scored, and we can go in and take a look, and you'll notice that boom, there's a little star, you know, for when you do a dual kill, or you do a quadruple kill, and that little alert pops up. So this is where all of your pretty much your widgets and things are going to be stored at. All right. And it's got replays, which I haven't even messed with replay, but it's got replay. Then the scoreboard is here, so that when you press the button, it shows, you know, how many kills per player. And then you got your weapon folder here, which the only thing in here is the grenade. It's the weapon that I based my launcher off of as well. So I'll get into all that, guys. And then this is your weapon breakdown here, and then your net shooter prototype is here. When I made all my weapons, I actually copied these and then renamed them per weapon. So I'll show you guys all that, but this is the folder that you want to be in when you're making new weapons. You want to copy them and then not leave them in this folder, but move them to the weapon folder that is inside of the engine game. You know, inside of your main game folder, not inside your plugin or engine folder. So that's pretty much the main gist of it. I think that was it. Weapons is pretty much the last, and then we got the shooter map content here, and this shows which map you want to use for your shooter for expanse. And this is where I had to plug in my map in this section. So I'm gonna get into all of it, guys. This, like I said, it's just really heavy, man. It's a lot to try to cover, and it's gonna take us several sessions to get there. But you can see here, you open these up, and it just has places for you to plug in, like the directories and all of these things. If you do them correctly, you won't have errors. Like I have some errors because I'm not referencing things correctly. Like the maps and things have to be referenced here. Like you literally have to make sure your map is in this folder, or add your maps folder by pressing this button. So that way you don't get errors saying that, you know, your files are not registered and all kinds of, you know, all those little weird red errors that you're getting down in the corner. All right. The next thing we want to do, let's see. I want to see if we have anything else left. We got the shooter. We got the meshes here, prototype, inventory test. Yeah, so this is where experience is. Like I said, guys, this is the test experience, which I think this is like a generic one that you can replace. And then we have the top down arena, and that's this whole setup. And then you'll see the same thing, guys. It's got its own data asset to set it up. So it's got its own experience that it has to have defined. Uh, Once again, the map is in the same folder, but then they have the rules, spawn rules, and the input configuration. So basically, this all is what's loaded in the very beginning. All right. So when you first load up the top-down arena, all of these things are going to happen. All right. They're accessed through this data asset. All right. And so then it'll have your maps, your system, your gameplay cues, just the same thing as you saw in the other one. You see, you got your B hero arena, so that's a different hero class for this particular setup. All right, so they each have their own hero, their own everything, and so this is where you'll be able to edit how this plays, and you can see it's a 4-team setup rule here. So see how I was showing you 2 teams earlier, this one has 4. All right, so it's going to be a different HUD, it's going to be different everything. And so what I'm going to end up doing is taking this and looking into it more, and possibly switching out the 2 for the 4, but I would have to figure out the HUD that's being used here and everything that's being used here to switch it over, guys. But this is pretty much it. I think that's the gist of it. That's the whole entire system in folder form. All right, so we should be good to go, guys. The next video, man, it's gonna be time to go ahead and get into the breakdown of character editing in Lyra. So I thank you guys for stopping by, man. I'm Capo, Black Adonis Games. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. You know how we do it around here. All right.